Hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome. Happy, happy Tuesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi, and I help folks with a job to start a side gig online. Use social media to grow it. If that is you, being serious or curious, drop the word 5 in the comments. I got you. Let's go. I'll get back with you after this live. I thought I'd spice it up tonight a little bit, talk about love and marriage. Yeah. Since I talked about business and entrepreneurship and all this stuff lately, I thought I'd spice it up and bring you some love recommendations. If you're joining me live, if you're hopping on the replay, would love to know where you're tuning in from. I'm from Southern California, and it's very nice. It's very nice outside tonight. So let's go. There's so much when it comes to marriage, but um, that really does. It really does. But I like to share with you 4 things that you gotta have this conversation before you say I do. At least these 4, if not anything else. I could probably think of a couple more, but I'll give you 4 solid ones. Okay. Please have these conversations before you get married. So the first one, and I'll leave the best one for last. Okay, I'll leave the best one for last. So the first one is the conversation about money. Let's talk about money, honey. Let's talk about who's going to do what. Not only what you're going to do and if you're going to work and you're going to provide or you're going to contribute, but it's very important to also have the conversation of how each one is going to do that. See, let's say, for example, if somebody says, they said, we want to be rich, right? I want to be rich. You want to be rich. And then the guy says, yeah, I agree. The gal says, I agree. And the gal says, I want to be a surgeon. And the guy says, I want to rob a bank. I can imagine that does not go together, right? So it's important to have the money conversation, and not only if you're going to contribute, but also how your contribution is going to work and how you're going to make the money. The second thing you want to talk about, then you want to have the conversation, is kids. Come on, you guys. Kids are so precious and so important. You cannot just throw them on the side. You got to have that conversation. Not only do we want to have kids, uh, but also how many kids. And what if life throws us a curveball and life has other plans? What if we can't have kids? Would we want to adopt? What route would we want to take? I think that's a very important conversation to have, because when you're in that mode, you're in the mode of getting married and you're setting things up and all this stuff. You're in the love mode, right? You're all this emotions are all over you. But it's very important to spend some time and have these conversations, because they could really come in between the two of you down the road. Third conversation to have. This may get a little sensitive. This one is a little tough. Hopefully it's not tough because the relationship's strong, but you gotta have the in-laws conversation. I think it's important. These days, it's important to know, hey, what's gonna be the boundaries between our family and our family, right? So you got to have that conversation. Hey, the dad's expectations, the mom's interference or recommendations. Where do we draw the line? Where do we set the boundaries without disrespecting anyone, right? I think it's a very important conversation to have about the in laws, especially these days. Some in laws are set to ruin the relationship, are not all for it. So it takes a very strong person to be able to push that back and actually still contribute to the family and not let that affect you, right? And the last, the best, and this should be the first one, and but I wanted to bring it up to you last, and that is God. You know, the good book says, "Do not be unequally yoked." I believe that across the board, whether you're Christian, whether you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're Buddhist, you're spiritual, all that stuff is it is what it is. But if you're a Christian and your spouse to be is going to be spiritual, I want to share this thought with you. My, yes, my ex mother in law had an issue with emotional and also mentioned got it, divine misfits. Divine misfits art studio. So God is important because if somebody is a Christian, I want to share this with you. If your spouse is spiritual, that's not Christian. I know some of you will hate me, but that's okay. That's not Christian. If you're Jewish and your spouse is spiritual, that's not Jewish. It's just not. If you're spiritual and your spouse is Christian, it's not spiritual. Do you believe in spirit? Right? So you got to have the God conversation. At least where you start, you got to be on the same path. You got to be at the same platform. Now, later on, if you're not a Christian, maybe you get introduced to the Lord and maybe then you convert. Maybe want to have that conversation. But it's very important for those of you with faith to put God first and make it happen so that you're both on the same page. And it's not about just, hey, I want to go to church. Would you go to church with me? It's not about that. It should be the center of your relationship throughout the day, day, every week, right? It should be the center of your attention. It should be the foundation of the relationship. And I think so many people start with that shaky foundation and find themselves not so long down the road that, hey, this is a big conflict. And it is. It is. So you want to make sure you have the God conversation. You want to, hey, Dolphin, Duet, what's going on? You want to have the God conversation. You want to have the kid conversation, the money conversation, and the in-law conversation. I hope you got some love out of this. I know I don't talk a lot about like marriage and love and relationships, but I have my thoughts as well. But I thought that this is kind of important because it blends in with everything else. And here's the thing, with the money part, I'll share this with you, and that I was in a relationship that was completely, when I say completely, like completely against against network marketing, direct sales, online marketing, and it was rough. We had some rough times, Needless to say, it didn't last. And to answer your question, Serenity, I'm not married. Oh man, that's funny. I don't know why that's funny because I'm giving marriage advice and I'm not married. No, I'm not married. I also get kids advice, and I'm not a father, so I don't have any kids. But these are, I feel like these are common sense. I often tell people, hey, go to www.commonsense.com and make sure you get your username and password because there's plenty of people don't have one. So with that, hopefully you guys get. I was going to say sorry. I was in a relationship that was a problem. The way I was earning, I was a problem. Major problem. So these days, you have so many avenues for income, and most everybody's got something going on the side, and it involves online, social media, meeting people, talking to people, and you know, gotta have that conversation because not always it's going to be, oh, I'm behind you 100% and I'll support you. Sometimes it's like, I'm not doing that. Maybe 20 years with a special needs child. Wow. My heart goes out to the parents with the special needs. I have, I have a, I have a few parents with special needs on my team that I've never been introduced to parents with special needs until I got my peeps in my team, and I'm learning more about it. That's a lot of patience, and that's a lot of. I think that you guys are super parents. That's what I think. I think you guys are super moms and super dads. Um, because as the name says, they need special help, right? So I think that's a that's amazing, and I would encourage you if you don't, I would encourage you to have God in the relationship. I'm sure you pray a lot. I'm sure maybe you do. I'm not sure because I don't actually know you, but I would say introduce God into the relationship if you have not, and it takes a lot of patience and a lot of love. I gotta tell you guys, from what I know from parents who have special need kids, there's a lot of patience, a lot of love, you know, and you have learned to grow thick skin, right? Because it's not always easy to be in a crowd with your child. I know that as well. So my love goes out to you. Big hug virtually to you. Serenity Sparkles. Thank you for the follow. If you guys are not following me, I am on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads. I'm everywhere. And I go with Side Gig Sean. And so you can follow me, I'll follow back. Of course, unless you got this weird profile, then I probably won't. But for the most part, everybody's pretty chill. With that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. And for those of you who've been sending me texts and chats, praying for me, I thank you. I appreciate you. I'm doing a little better. Not really, but I am. And so I appreciate that. I think I've gotten back to everybody. I'm pretty sure I have, but if I have missed you, I apologize. I'll get back with you. So with that, I am Sean Azimi. I help folks just like you with a job to start a side gig online. Use social media to grow it. Like I always say every night, where else would you start a side gig? Across the street? How else would you grow it? Spending thousands on advertising? Of course you'd start it online and use social media to grow it. And the good thing is with me, I don't throw you in the field and I say, go do it. I actually lock arms with you and say, let's do it. So if that is you, if you're serious or curious, drop the word 5 in the comments and I'll get back with you after this live. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.